Businesses in Dumfries have spent the day coping with the effects of yet another flood along the Whitesands after the River Nith burst its banks.
Tonight there are flood alerts for the south of Scotland and parts of Cumbria. Our reporter Lewis Warner is in Dumfries for us. And Lewis, that area sadly is no stranger to flooding, is it?
No, it's a depressingly familiar sight here in Dumfries. Happens all too often. Now, businesses and residents were first alerted to these flood warnings yesterday at around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Initially, they were quietly confident that it wasn't going to be that bad, but as the night drew closer, the night drew in, the water kept coming up onto the road, and with high tide approaching, some even turned to panic in order to secure their businesses and homes.
It was a long night for those with property along the Whitesands. After the shops had closed, business owners returned to try and protect their jobs and their livelihoods.
We're a dog groomers and pet shop and a photographer, so we've had to lift all the food, all the photography equipment upstairs. I could lose it all, you know, because I work so hard. Hopefully something can be done, but we've just got to get on with the way we do it every time until that happens. And if it floods, we get on with it. We just have to.
Both my jobs and my home's up here. Like my whole life's here basically. It's quite scary, not gonna lie. Just don't want to get stranded in my flat. And my work as well, I'll be out of a job for however long.
The water, now unrepentant, continued to climb barriers and bollards. One man had to be carried through the floodwater after the entrance to the pub he was in was blocked. Late night relief came in the form of sandbags.
We need to protect our shop.
This takeaway has only been open 2 months. Its owners say they haven't even had time to think about flood protection.
Tonight, the moment residents and business owners feared has happened again. Not even for the first time, the second time or the third time, multiple times now. This has left them angry, frustrated and asking more questions about what can be done to stop this from ever happening again.
In 32 years, Rab's record shop has been flooded 17 times. He says something needs to be done.
We've got millions of pounds spent on various projects in Dumfries and Galloway and Dumfries town centre itself, and yet they always sort of do a rush to say, right, we're going to fix it after a flood like this. Then they forget about it, and then they forget about it again, and then they don't do a thing until the next flood happens.
It wasn't just Dumfries and Galloway that was affected. Parts of Cumbria and the Scottish borders also received heavy rainfall. This morning in Dumfries, the clean-up operation was underway, but with the car park and roads closed, businesses fear they'll still suffer.
We've all bought businesses and rented business properties down here knowing that it floods. It's more how quick do we get back on our feet. And I own my own sandbags, I have my own water pumps, but if the road doesn't reopen and the car park doesn't reopen, there's nothing we can do. We're dead in the water today. If this had happened on a weekend and or up to Christmas, that could spell close to disaster for us.
The views of some business owners there. Now, there are actually some flood defence plans on the table. Let's take a look at this. If this goes ahead, it'll cost £25 million, but there are fears that it'll reduce the number of car parking spaces here and negatively affect businesses. They think that actually the number of times this place actually floods, that could be actually a worse option. Now, tonight, a councillor has told me the council has done everything they can. Those plans now sit with the Scottish Government. They've told us that ministers are looking at that and they'll announce their decision as soon as they can.
Lewis, thank you for bringing us the latest from Dumfries.